Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Creating Your Heaven on Earth. I'm your host, Denise Anderson, and I'm coming at you from Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. And I'm so excited today to announce that I have a guest on the show. This is my first guest podcast, and I would love to introduce everyone to Quinelle Ball. Hello, Quinelle. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for doing the show with me. I'm excited to have you here. I just thought we'd start by you telling everybody a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what have you got going on?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Quinelle Ball. You told me you used my maiden name, Powick, which is so funny, but that's all good. And I live in Calgary, Alberta. Um, yeah, I'm married, been married 14 years to a pretty wonderful man most of the time. And and I have two girls, two kids. They're 11 and 12. So yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, Quinelle, if you don't mind, we're gonna dive right into this. Obviously, this is about creating heaven on earth. So I'm gonna ask you some really in-depth questions, and we're just gonna begin if you're ready.
Yeah, I'm so excited for sure.
Right, right. So, Quinelle, I would love for you to share with us um one of your most darkest or challenging moments in your life that you went through. We know about everyone's journey. We all go through dark times, and we don't get to that, heavenly state or blissful state without going through some really rough times. So, yeah, would you mind sharing with us, one of your darker, most challenging moments?
Yeah, for sure. So I guess it's almost been five years ago. I actually lost my little brother to suicide, and well, it's a long story, but he ended up getting a traumatic brain injury. He had a fall at work, and he was in recovery for like maybe 2 years, and he just couldn't take it any longer. And so yeah, he uh, he passed and committed suicide, and I went through a really terrible grieving process and a deep depression. I couldn't pull myself out of bed. I wasn't loving myself at all. It was really the darkest time of my life for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And how did it affect like other areas of your life?
It affected every area of my life, my health. I wasn't loving myself. I wasn't eating properly. It affected my marriage, my relationship with my children. Like my kids were worried about me. It was bad. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
bad. Hmm.
And so how do you feel, like what sorts of tools or whatever did you use to kind of pull yourself out of that challenging time of your life?
Yeah, so it was probably a year into to after I losing my little brother. Um, my older brother ended up doing this 75 hard challenge. So I don't know if you've heard of it, but
With
it's
Andy Frisella?
yeah, for
Yes, I
sure.
am familiar. That's a great program.
Yeah, so I swear by it. It changed my life. I ended up doing a whole year of living hard, so did 75 days straight, and it's no alcohol, follow a diet, no cheat meals, 2 workouts a day, drink 4 liters of water, and take a progress picture, and ten pages of reading. So yeah, it's one of the most difficult things I did in my life, but the benefits I've gotten out of it are absolutely unreal. So
Well, what did you learn about yourself going through that program?
that I can do hard things. Like it gave me absolute self confidence that I had something to offer the world, and oh, it did so much. I can't even explain to you all the things that it has done for me, and not just for me, but for everybody around me. Like when you are, this is why I love your podcast and the idea of creating your own heaven on earth, because it's what I've been doing for I'd say 3 years now. And my to get me started, I worked with you. You coached me with some father daughter stuff and some stuff like that. But then I also at the same time was doing 75 hard, and so both of those things just set me on a path, and I have not slowed down since. It's been crazy.
That's exciting. That is exciting.
Yeah.
Quinelle, how would you say you show up differently in your life now?
Um, I was I was so closed off emotionally. Like I didn't use my voice at all, and I had so many big things to say, and I wouldn't speak up. So even me just being on a podcast right now is like nobody would have believed it 3 years ago that this is what I was gonna do. Yeah.
And Quinelle, if you don't mind me sharing something that when we were working together that I noticed, I remember the first time you showed up on one of our group calls and you were like mortified. You were so nervous. It's and you were scared to speak up. Your voice was quivering. Like God bless you. You were just
Yeah.
so nervous. And comparing you from back then to this moment right now, and you showing up here on this podcast, I asked you, I said I'm not going to send you any questions, and you're like, let's just wing it. Like let's just go off the cuff. I can show up. I'm just going to be me, be authentic. And I'm like, wow, I can just see the difference in you from that time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've definitely always struggled with anxiety and just being in my head too much, and it's helped me. Like, I know I've said to you before too, is like you just think of the worst possible scenarios, but you find out when you do it, like, well, sometimes bad things happen that I did say that, and then it's like something you didn't even think about. You're like, oh, I didn't even see that one coming, but you just deal with it. Like, you just figure it out. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then another thing is like I feel like me coming from that spot, like I feel like I have an obligation to show people what I'm like now because like if I can do it, really anybody can do it. Anyone can get out of their shell, get out of their head and just like put in the hard work and create their own heaven on earth. I feel like it's possible for anyone.
Wow. Well, that is really inspiring,
Yeah.
Quinelle. Yeah, really inspiring. So what would you say is your idea of heaven on earth?
Yeah, so it's changed so much. Like every month it changes my heaven on earth, but Um, so recently I'm not into working the 9 to 5 and I've always had this dream for years and years. I wanted to open a home cleaning organizing company. Uh, I've done it in the last 3 months. I opened a company. I just last week, actually just this week, I put in my notice to my 9 to 5 and I am like, I'm doing it. My husband is staying at home. So he's always worked on the rigs for like 14 years. He's quit the rigs now and we're doing Tidy Quin together and we completely crushing it. Like it's crazy.
That is so exciting. So you said the name of your business is Tidy Quin.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
And what does it entail? What does Tidy Quin do?
Yeah. So we're a home cleaning service most of all, and then we've added the home organizing too. So we do move in and move out cleans. We will come in and empty every single drawer in your house and reorganize it, purge for you. I'll sell things for you on Kijiji and Marketplace. Like, yeah, so it's definitely a passion, and I think that's why we're doing so well because it's always been a passion of mine. I just love the way that people feel when they come into a home and it's like they take their space back, right? Like you can really accomplish more when your space is clear and you don't have those sort of things to worry about. It's about peace of mind, right?
Absolutely. And I've also heard and read and experienced for myself that when I clean out an area of my home, like sometimes it's very emotional when I'm purging or getting rid of stuff that I'm hanging on to, whether it's an article of clothing, an object that I've kept for sentimental reasons, and it's just time to let it go. Have you ever experienced any sort of like emotional states coming from your clients because of a cleaning and an organizing
Oh yeah,
situation?
I forgot to add that I'm a therapist also. Home cleaner, organizer, and therapist. No, I also that's why I love the job because you meet the best people, the best clients, and they all have it's so relatable. Everything that everyone goes through is so relatable, and I love helping with that sort of thing. Lots of time, it's, people don't have the time; they haven't been able to be motivated. But I just keep reminding them like the feeling that they're going to have at the end, right? Like when you have this space, you care about everything that's in your space. It frees up your time and your life to pursue your goals and your passions, right? Like I'm doing. So
Absolutely. So what I hear you saying is like you're a catalyst for helping other people to create their heaven on earth and pursue their dreams and goals.
That's how I feel for sure. Yeah, and it's so funny because I always like, you're always searching for your passions and
Mm.
like what you're good at. Like I don't know what I want to do when I grow up, right? Like I've always I've always been so good at this, but I just thought like who's going to want this? Like, you don't feel like there's and so yeah, I think a thing with me working with you in the 75 hard, like getting over the fear, like everyone is so afraid. And that's another thing is if you just like dive into it, like it's incredible how things line up and like, yeah, everything gets in tune and it just like works out. It's,
Wow. Yeah,
yeah.
I hear you saying there's a phrase coming to my mind, like face the fear and do it anyway. Like the fear's going to be there.
Yeah, for sure. And also it's hard work and like it is going to
Mm.
be hard. There's going to be suffering in it, but then it's worth it. The times you get to connect with clients or I have a whole bunch of cleaners and women that I'm working with that clean for the clients and just seeing me be able to provide jobs and to help
Mm.
their families, it's like a trickle down effect. And when it's leading by example is how I feel like I'm trying to say because it's with your children too. Like my girls in the last like 3 months since I started opening Tidy Quin, like I've just seen them completely kill it too. Like their hobbies that they're into, they're executing, they're doing well in school, they're doing well with their friends. Like it's and they're so proud of me. Like they see me hustling and it feels so good.
That is great. You know what I love about what you just shared, Quinelle, is I find so often as parents, it's like do as I say, not as I do. And what you're saying is lead by example. Just rather than kind of preaching to your children, show by example. Go out and do the thing that you wish for them to do. Because I think our kids want the best for us as well. They want to see the best come out of their parents and for them to also achieve and do the things that light them up. So when you're lit up and you're doing it, I love that you're leading by example.
Yeah, like people always say anything is possible and it's actually true. It's just so funny how what you're possible you want to be changes. Like, you know what I mean? Like people are like, "Oh, I want to win $1 million." And it's like, "No, like I actually don't want to win $1 million. I don't want to work a 9 to 5. I want to do a job that I love. I want to be with my family." And that's creating my heaven on earth.
Wow, that's great. So Kunal, for the people that are listening, again, like I know when we were talking earlier, you just said like I just want people to know like anyone can do this, right? Like you're not special that you were able to do this. Could you talk about some of the limiting beliefs, the limiting thoughts that would come up for you along the way that could have stopped you, that you needed to work through, but just so people can relate to like some of the challenging and beliefs that you had that were actually holding you back.
Yeah, for sure. There's so much to this. Like I could I could list a lot, but like one example, and you did a podcast earlier, is the guilt. Like I feel
Mm.
guilty about. So right now I'm taking a lot of time for myself. There's a lot of time being taken away from my kids, from my husband, with like my business, and even quitting my 9 to 5. I really loved it there, and like I loved the people I was working with. I just wasn't passionate about it, and I had to put my notice in, and I felt so much guilt. Like, but
Mm.
I'm not superwoman. I can't do it all, and I'm choosing me for like once in my life. Like I definitely dealt with a lot of guilt, and then yeah, just lack of belief in yourself. Like I was so afraid to do hard things, and like when you get out there and do like, so you have to do a 45-minute workout outside every day for 75 days when you're on 75 hard. And I'm on 75 hard right now for my second round. I think I'm on day 65 today, so 10 more.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, yeah. But like even just going outside, like I'm like it's so cold, right? It's minus 28 tonight. Like it is freezing cold.
Yes,
And
you're from Canada.
yeah, like it's not warm here. And yeah, just pushing yourself to get out there, like it's such an empowering feeling.
Mm.
And when no one else is out there, you're just like, oh my, like, and me saying like there's nothing special about me, like literally all it takes is for you to put your boots on and go for a 45-minute walk, and you will feel so empowered being outside in minus 28. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So sometimes, like, I mean, that's a big thing, but it's also a little thing. So sometimes those incremental things that we do, it's the little things that we do every single day that leads to your heaven on earth, that leads to your happiness, that leads to your empowerment.
Yeah, sometimes you don't even know it's late. Like you're like, why am I doing this or whatever? And then like weeks down the road, you're like, oh my, like you see it all be put together, and you're like, oh, that's why I went through this. This is why I put in this work. This is why I did this hard thing, right? And then it just all comes together, and that seems like what is happening for me right now, for sure. Where just all my hard work and my grief and my hard times just got mended together, and here I am just like literally experiencing it all, and it is so great.
That
So
that's
great.
inspiring. That is great. So how
Yeah.
do you view challenges now? How do you view challenges and dark times that will come? Like there's no point in our life that things aren't going to stop happening. How do you view them differently now?
Yeah, like one of my big things is like there's always a way out. Like I remember feeling stuck like all the time in my life, like, and that went along with the guilt, the fear, not feeling good enough. But I haven't felt stuck in a long time because I've pulled myself out of some dark places. And I just know, like, when I'm not liking something, I can change the trajectory of where I want to go, which is
Wow.
crazy. Yeah.
Very empowering, very empowering. What is your ultimate goal with Tidy Quin? Like, do you have an even bigger expansion? Do you have like a 3, 4, 5, 10 year vision?
I have all of those things. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm always thinking into the future, and I'm like so proud of what we've done in 3 months. And yeah, so we're hiring like a virtual assistant to answer phones, which, and then I got rid of my 9 to 5. So I'm just going to market, and there's lots of plans for,
That
for me
that's
to grow
that
bigger.
is awesome. So
Yeah.
Quinelle, for the people in the Calgary area that are listening to this, how can they get a hold of you? How can they line up your services?
Yeah, so just go to our website. It's www.tidyquin.ca, and it's such easy online booking. You can email us, email me at quinelle@tidyquin.ca, and yeah, we can organize, we can purge, we can deep clean your house, we can help with move in, move outs, we can, yeah.
Quinelle, I absolutely love what you're offering to people. And I know it's not just a clean home, it's not just organization. I know it goes so much deeper than that. So thank you for the work that you do and for being here today. But I would like to end on something. If you could leave our listeners today with a piece of wisdom or something, a golden nugget, what would be the golden nugget that you would like to leave the listeners with today? And just take your time.
Yeah, I think but one of my biggest ones is that you're never stuck. There's always a way out. And just do the hard work because it pays off. Like just keep going and work hard, because yeah, magical things happen. Your life starts to align
Yeah.
when you put in the work.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Quinelle, I can't tell you how happy it makes me, how proud I am. You are a completely different person today. I know we did some work together a couple years back, and you are completely a different person. I'm so proud of you for the work that you did. It isn't anybody else's doing. It certainly is the hard work and the persistence and your will, determination, and motivation to do it. So, hats off to you. So proud of you. And for our listeners, if you are ready to start creating your heaven on earth, please reach out to me at creatingyourearth.com and we'll get started. So, thanks for joining us and take good care.